Yo, my name is Wanny the Maker and welcome to the Guest channel. We're back with another DIY upcycling vibe using some Guest pieces. If you haven't seen the first one I made, I suggest you head on over to my TikTok and check it out. I made some jeans, went crazy, but enough about that because today I'm gonna be making a hoodie out of some old crew necks and then a duffel bag out of some jeans. And I'm gonna take you guys with me, so let's get into it. Alright, so for this project you're just going to need some sewing pins, something to cut with. I have a rotary cutter, but scissors will work too. I use those as well. And then a ruler. So here are the crew necks I'm going to be working with. Super fire from their Guest vintage collection. First step, I'm just going to start by deconstructing all the crew necks, cutting them up, and getting everything prepared. Once I've got everything cut up, I'm gonna take the logos on each part and just start squaring them off with my rotary cutter, and then I'm gonna set those to the side. All right, I got all the logos cut up. I'm gonna do the same thing for the rest of the materials and we can start piecing this hoodie together. All right, now that we have everything cut up, it's time to grab our hoodie pattern. So now I'm just placing the materials on the pattern where I want them to go, and then I'm gonna start sewing it together. Now I'm just gonna take two of the pieces, place them right sides together, and sew on the seam. And once I have all the pieces sewn together, I'm just gonna place my pattern back on top and cut it out. Alright, so I got the front piece made, looking super crispy, super clean, and I'm just gonna repeat that process for the back, sleeves, and the hood, so let's get it. Here's me working in real time on the back piece, just getting everything laid out where I want it to go. Then I'll sew it together, and then I'm just cutting it out. Same thing for the sleeve, and here are all the pieces laid out. I got two hood pieces, front, back, and two sleeves. Now I'm gonna start pinning everything together. I'm pinning the front to the back here, right sides facing each other, so the inside seams will be facing up at you at this point, pinning around the edge. Same thing for the hood part, and it'll be the same concept on the sleeves as well. Once you have that, we can take it on over to the sewing machine. So now I'm just sewing all the sides, and I'm using my serger as I've been using most of the video. But if you don't have a serger, a zigzag stitch will work too. And then I'm just gonna do the same thing on that bottom hem just to clean it up. Now that that's done, I'm gonna fold over all the edges and pin it up so I can sew it and give it a nice clean finish. So I'm just folding up about 1/2 inch on the bottom hem, and I'll be pinning it all the way around. I'll do the same thing on the sleeve openings. And then for the hood, I'm gonna fold it over about 1.5 inches and do the same thing. Once you have it all pinned up, you can just do a straight stitch all the way around. Now I'm just sewing and attaching that sleeve, and I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side. So I'm just gonna turn this back the right way, and the sleeves are attached. Now we just gotta add the hood. I'm just gonna attach the hood. I'm making sure it's centered, and then I'm gonna pin all the way around and then sew it on. And we are all done. I love how it turned out. I think all the colors pair really well together, and we have the Guest branding all over. And the cool thing about Patchwork is that you can play around with all different types of materials and fabrics. All right, y'all, so we got the first project done. Hoodie came out super clean. Now it's time to knock out that duffel bag. Let's get it. All right, so for this project, you're gonna need something to cut with. I have a rotary cutter and scissors, at least 4 yards of strap, a zipper that's at least 20 inches, 2 swivel hooks, 2 D-rings, some pins, and then for the pattern, it's a circle with a 10-inch diameter, and then just a rectangle with these measurements here. So this is the vintage Guest denim I'll be working with. Got some nice washes on those, and I'm just gonna start by deconstructing the pants. I'm just opening up that inseam right here, and then tearing it apart. So I'm gonna repeat that process for all of the jeans, and once I have that done, I'm just gonna start cutting it up into squares, just like we did with the hoodie. So once you have a good bit of pieces cut out, we can go ahead and start laying it on our pattern and just getting our color coordination right. I personally don't like to have the same color touching each other, so I'm keeping that in mind while placing them down. Now I'm just sewing all these pieces together, making one big sheet. And once I've got that done, I'm just placing my pattern back on top of it and cutting it out. Next, I'm just gonna add some lining so that those raw edges are not exposed on the inside. And I just sewed 2 leg pieces together, and now I'm laying the panel wrong sides facing each other, and I'm gonna pin all the way around. Once I have that done, I'm gonna sew a straight stitch all the way around. Now I'm just gonna go ahead and trim off that excess, and then we can move on to adding the zipper to the short end of the rectangle by pinning it right sides facing each other. Now I am serging the zipper on just to give it a little bit of a cleaner look, but you can do a straight stitch as well. We're gonna repeat this process on the other side, and once that's done, we're gonna add a top stitch just so the zipper lays nice and flat. Now we're gonna lay the bag with the lining facing up, and we're gonna fold over one side and measure 1.5 inches and pin all the way down. And this is gonna serve as the zipper flap. Once we have that done, we're gonna sew a straight stitch all the way down about 1/2 inch from the edge. All right, now it's time to add the straps. I'm gonna cut this to 81 inches. And once I have that cut out, I'm just sewing it together, and then I'm gonna add it to the bag. I'm measuring 6 inches from each side, and then I'm pinning it down, and then I'm gonna take it on over to my sewing machine and secure it using a straight stitch all the way around. And I'm making sure not to sew all the way up to the zipper. I'm leaving about 2 inches of room just to give the handles some wiggle room. Once the strap is attached, you can go ahead and zip it up, and then we're gonna fold over that zipper flap and do a straight stitch just to secure that in place. And we're gonna do this on both sides. Now I'm preparing the side panels of the bag, and it is the same process as the other part. We're piecing it together, lining it, and then cutting it out using our pattern. So now I'm gonna cut 2 straps to 9 inches each, and these are gonna go on the sides of the bag. I'm gonna feed each strap through a D-ring, fold it over, and then pin it to the side of the bag, and then we're just gonna sew it to secure it down. Now I'm just taking a seam ripper and removing those Guess logos from the back pockets of the jeans and adding them onto the side panels just for some extra details. Now it is time to assemble this thing. I'm gonna take the side panels and make sure that the D-ring is facing up towards the zipper, and I'm gonna pin it right sides together all the way around. I'm just sewing it down all the way around, and I'm gonna repeat this process on the other side of the bag. The hard part is out of the way, so I just gotta add the shoulder strap now, and I'm gonna cut this to about 40 inches. So I got my strap cut, and just like with the D-ring, I'm gonna feed it through the swivel hook and sew it down just to secure it in place, and do this on both sides. Once I have that done, we can go ahead and add it to the bag, and we are done. I really love how this project turned out. I think the washes of the denim really complement each other well, and I just think this is like the perfect size duffel bag, not too big or too small. That's it for this video. We got a dope hoodie and duffel bag made using recycled materials that you can try out at home. Thank you for tuning into the Guest channel, and once again, I'm Wayne the Maker, and I'll catch y'all later.